And I am going to really quickly hop into the interface. Do I still have time? Yes, great. Oh, so here's what the landing page looks like. This is the website if you want to go learn more. Click the install button. It'll take you to our quick start, which has to be a little complicated because we have so many different ways of installing the tool on different systems. So this is probably what most of you are interested in. Okay, let's get right into it. This is OpenCRAVAT, and if you want, I can restart it entirely. Quit. Start. It pulls up a terminal window, and it pulls up a tab on, this is Google Chrome that I'm using here. If I'm interested in running a file, I can choose some random HE18 file that I should have available in my data folder. And here's an HE18 file. This is the samples that we had been running before. So as you can see, I just loaded in 5 different VCF files at one time. I didn't have to figure out how to combine them and TADX them and all these different steps. This is a live demo, so I'll add that as a note. And which annotations am I interested in? Well, I think I'm interested in something I don't have previously downloaded. So let me go to the store and look at everything. Wow, I have a lot of things. And several of these are too big for a demo. How about grasped GWAS? I'd like to know if any of these variants within the sample occur at a known GWAS hit. Is that what's in here? Yep. GWAS hits. So click install. Installing. It's a little big, so it takes maybe 30 seconds on this network. Is there anything else I want to install? This is a really great database. It's of Brazilian mutation because we have a collaborator who suggested that we should include it. So if you've got a particular database that you're interested in, but don't necessarily have the time to add it to the store yourself, we will get around to it in due time, depending upon how complicated the source is. This one took a couple months for us to get around to it because we were very otherwise detained doing hackathons and whatnot. Okay, that module is installed. So I will very quickly find it. And then I'll run DenovoDB and click. Well, I need to describe what this module categories thing is. I'm sorry. Since people like me want to download everything, you can use this selector similar to what it is in the store, and it will reduce the list to only those relevant annotators that you have installed within that category. Okay, click annotate and give it a second. Live demo. So I am showing you that, as a job is running, you get a live status update. It's very quick for very small files, as you can see. It will show you a live status update. That way you will know if it's frozen. But if you go back to this command line window that comes up, this is a part of the local installable, not necessarily a part of the command line version. The command line version is done on command line. This has to pull up its own little command line interface. It shows you exactly which annotators are being run and how long they are taking. That way, if you're doing a very hefty analysis and one annotator is a bit of a beast, you can restart it, remove the really slow annotator. There's not very many slow annotators, and get back to work. So I will open this results viewer and very quickly show you some of the amazing widgets and customization capacities. This widget is how many mutated genes are within each prominent gene ontology designations within your sample. And as you can see, if this is too small for you or too big, you can simply make it bigger and smaller. Or if I don't like this, take it away. And it's gone. You can pull it back up if you want using this very simple widgets menu here. But I'm not very interested in it. And then simply click Save. That way, next time I pull up this job, it will have the exact same graphical interface. I can save it and come back to it and show my, for example, advisor later, or show my collaborator later, and be able to go right back to, look, poly-ARNA binding is very impacted in the sample. So I wanted to briefly explain what this button does. So I have a 13-inch computer. It's quite small. I don't really have trouble using the interface though, mostly probably because I'm used to it. But for those of us who would prefer to have less going on here, this switch lets you toggle between only viewing the Excel style table or only viewing widgets. That way you can allow widgets, for example, something like IGV, to truly dominate your screen if that's what you're interested in. If you want to load in, for example, a BAM file to get some more context among several individuals. Same thing here. And then save it. And that's the interface. Very quickly, just to show you how fun and easy it is to mess with this table. Hide all columns, expand all columns. Sample count. Since I only loaded in 5, these are the mutations that are within all 5 samples. These are all the missense mutations that are within all 5 samples. And these are the ClinVar annotations for the missense variants that are within all 5 samples. Unfortunately, there's some not specifieds in here, which we argued with and decided to keep because not specified means something different than a blank space, of course. And with this kind of informal live demo, I think I'd like to stop and see if there are any questions or clarifications. Oh, I need to say thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me describing OpenCRAVAT to you. If you feel like this could be a useful tool, give it a try. Let us know if there's anything that we need to add to the store or any things that are not well described. We are very open to adjusting the framework to better suit collaboration. Thank you for your time.
Kim, before you go, we do have some people with questions. I just have to unmute them. I apologize.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
One second. Some may have. Sorry, I apologize. I'm trying to check the chat here. Okay, so Ronald Taylor, yes, I can send. If Kim, if you wouldn't mind, would you be able to send me your slides? Some people are wondering if I can send it to them.
Of course, I would be delighted to. I put a lot of time on these, so.
So we did have somebody that unfortunately had to miss the beginning part of the WebEx, and this person is wondering, what is the input of OpenCRAVAT? Is it VCF files?
by default accepts VCF and kind of a modified TSV format, which is very similar to VCF. We've got additional input formats that are specially selected for Ancestry.com and 23andMe formats, or a list of DB SNP identifiers. We've decided not to make code for MAF files, although if there are enough complaints, we can. But MAF files are kind of not well specified, let's say, for us to incorporate. They can have an indeterminate number of columns. If there's some other input format I'm missing out on, let me know.
Okay. And then is this available on BioWolf or Helix?
No, no.
Okay. And then is it better to run this on an individual computer like a Mac Pro?
That is what I am running it on currently, and it has absolutely no problems. After you get to a certain number of files within the same job, you should definitely consider our server version or cloud versions, which are currently under implementation. But since this is so graphically oriented, I think it's well suited to be used on a laptop. But of course, there are the command line features that I've been kind of brushing to the side because they're not as good to graphically display.
Okay, and I have one more question. Sorry, it came across my screen and now I've lost it, but it was about VCF files. One second. I'm not sure why. Oh, is that where it went? Okay, can you start with a VCF that already has annotations in it?
Yeah, it'll be included as, I think, tags. I'm not exactly sure. Get into contact with me about this, and if we don't handle it well, we will add in functionality to handle it well, because that's an important component of it.
All right, and then the next thing, I guess, if do you want me to send out your contact info, or because we do have people that are wondering if they might be able to get your contact info, and everybody's also, I'm getting a lot of people just thanking and just really appreciative of the presentation, so we really appreciate. Thank you so much.
So kpagel1@jhu.edu, if I'm still sharing my screen at least, is my Hopkins IU address. But if you want to be more general, it's support@cravat.us. Or Twitter. I'm trying to be a good at Twitter type person, so any of you who is a Twitter fan, get to it if you want. And if any of the listeners have resources that they would love to incorporate or make Cravat incorporate within their resources, please let us know. We're fortunate to be part of ITCR. It's got a lot of great resources.
Great. Okay. All right. Well, since I'm not seeing any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the session.